Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Supernatural, episode 1419, titled Jack in the Box, which premiered Thursday, April 18, 2019 on the CW. I'm recording roughly 30 minutes after the episode is aired, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. My other video reminders up on screen. Take a moment to remind yourselves of those. I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes. Let's see if I can do this. So let's start the clock, and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, it has been a few days since Mary's Hunter funeral at the end of 1418. It was stated specifically that at the very beginning during her wake. So the episode reminder, I guess you could say, it's clearly in the title itself, Jack in the Box. This is in reference to him being put in the Malik box, essentially, which I'll get to in a moment, which is episode breakdown, though, for the storyline. So technically, it's two different storylines. The first one being locating Jack, and the second one being doing Heaven's work. So with the first storyline, we have Sam and Dean wanting to lock Jack up in the Malik box to contain him so he doesn't not only hurt himself but other people. Also, we have Castiel turning to Heaven to help locate Jack, but in doing so, that kind of creates storyline number 2. And also, they're all trying to do this before Bobby finds Jack because he wants to kill him because he is an unstoppable monster who can't tell right from wrong, meaning he has to be stopped by any means necessary. But then the others want to stop him because if doing so, Bobby and the others might get killed by Jack. So there's that. So the second storyline is the fact that Duma, because she's told by Castiel the state that Jack is in, she goes and manipulates Jack into doing Heaven's work by saying it's what the Winchesters would be happy to see. She's trying to make him return Heaven to its former glory, try to get him to create more angels, and he seems to be successful by changing parishioners into angels before their time, I guess you could say. It looked like they were successful, but anyways, there's that. But that becomes a whole slew of things which gets interconnected with locating Jack. So last scene of the episode is Jack escaping the Malik box, and in everything around it is like completely destroyed, and then you see him coming out of this dust cloud. It's very similar to how we were first introduced to Jack in 1301 or I should say 1223, when after he's born, Sam sees him for the first time from the shadows, and all you see is the glowing eyes. It's kind of how you see Jack in the final moments you see him in this episode. So there's that. Tidbit-wise, very quickly, we do get the funeral wake for Mary with all the hunters coming by at the very beginning of the episode, so that was really good there. Second is that we still see Jack suffering from hallucinations of Lucifer. Despite his desperate attempts to call to his mom, Kelly, instead, he gets Lucifer. And then we do find out that Naomi is locked in a cell due to her failed leadership of Heaven when the MT had invaded. That's kind of what led her to her being locked up, and which led to Duma being in charge. So there's that. And Death Tally, we do see Duma finally being killed by Castiel, especially after she threatened to take away Mary's peace with John in Heaven. It's like, no. Castiel didn't hesitate to not make that possible. And she threatened it with a snap of her finger. It's like Thanos snap right there once again. But anyways, we also see Dr. Tate being killed by being turned into a pillar of salt. And then we also see Pastor Ames. I'm assuming he was killed because the last time we see him is when another worm emerges from inside him and kind of starts going at it with him, and that was kind of the curse that Castiel put on him, that worms would consume him with the last breath or something like that. That was very disgusting, might I say, with all the worms emerging out of all these cuts in his body. That was so gross. But anyways, let's move on to the most shocking moment of the episode. I would have to say, it was Dean's private mourning of Mary in the woods. He claims that he was going to go out because he needs a beer and he needs to drink and not at the bunker, so he leaves. I'm thinking he's going to a bar. That's kind of what I expect from Dean. I expect him to kind of drink his sorrows away type of thing. But then to see the Impala just parked at the side of the road near a field, I thought it would have been the same field where Mary was killed, but it was just a regular field, and on this lump of a log in the dark, you see Dean there, sitting there, and he is trying to hold back tears, but he can't. He is completely mourning over his mom, and that was just shocking to me because I didn't expect for us to see it. I think the last time we saw him, I don't know, season 4 comes to mind, specifically when he confessed about hell, and then season 2 as well, when Sam died the first time. Those really come back to me emotionally. as like him not being able to hold it in. I mean, his season 12 confession of Mary in her head, that's also a one too, but like those moments came to mind. It was so shocking and so deeply heartbreaking to see this character grieve in such a very, it was also something that he felt like he couldn't do properly unless he was alone, which is also another sad thing as well too. But it's just like I didn't expect to see it. Like I was expecting me to just to assume that he was drinking his sorrow away, like I was saying, but to see that was the most shocking. Not the fact that they locked Jack in the mallet box, which wasn't really a surprise to begin with, or that he escaped. That's not a surprise either. But this was my shocking moment. So there's that. So giving out a kudos to an excellent performance there. But that's where I'll state it there. But let's move on to top 3 favorite moments. I really only have the 2, but the first one is a really big one because I like that all the different parallels we see with Jack in this episode. I don't know if anyone picked up on it though, but with this episode in particular, we see Jack trying to be God, which parallels Castiel doing the exact same thing in episode 701 when he had taken in the purgatory souls, including Leviathan souls. He was trying to be the new God type of thing. So we kind of see Jack kind of going down that road essentially, but instead of him being manipulated by the voices in his head from all the purgatory souls that Castiel had to deal with, he's being manipulated by Duma. The second parallel that I picked up on was Jack suffering from the hallucinations of Lucifer, which parallels what Sam had to go through in season 7 as well, when he was dealing with the merging of his hell memories and the experiences of him in the cage with Lucifer was like. So that was another parallel there. And then another parallel, I guess, was the whole storyline of the Malak box, how Dean for the first part of the season was so hell-bent on using the Malak box on himself to contain Michael that was inside of him and the powers that are within him because of him, and then just living out his days like that, being locked in the box, and then to put Jack through that himself, and then to have him also freaking out, rightfully so, being in the box, which parallels what Dean had, or that nightmare we saw Dean have about him being in the box as well. It was really prominent in this episode how there's a part of Jack's story in this episode that paralleled something that happened to Sam, Dean, or Cass over the last 14 years. So I really appreciated that, and I really liked the little callbacks to it because essentially they were his son. They were his 3 dads type of thing. And then to have it all turn on its head, that was an unfortunate part, but I appreciate the parallels. That's why it's a huge favorite for me there. And then the second favorite I had was the fact that we got the gathering of the hunters for Mary's wig. I really appreciate Dean's speech during that, how he highlighted and acknowledged the fact that Mary wasn't just a mom to him. She was also this independent woman who happened to be a hunter, who happened to risk her life and like all this stuff as well. It was just really well done. He even did a jab at the fact that she can't cook, which I'm grateful for because I can't cook either. But like it was just great to like that speech was really great, and you could see that Sam was not in the state to do it. But it was just great to see all these hunters who've gotten to know Mary over the last 2 years and say the send off, and then like to have all those little mementos on the table throughout it. You got John's journal, you got a few photos of a recent photo of Mary and the boys, or it'd be one from their past, from her first time around being alive. So it was very interesting to actually have other people show appreciation towards her as well too, and not just have like the secluded funeral that they had in the previous episode. So there's that. Moving on to top 3 peeve moments though. First one I have to say is Jack talking about the incident with Mary in such a clinical way, like no emotion and stuff like that. Or it was very disturbing to the point like you could tell there's a difference. And Sam and Dean, and you can tell even more when Sam and Dean are reacting to the fact like, oh, this is feeling wrong right now. Like they can feel that difference. I don't know if it's because emotionally they wanted to be distant, or if they can actually tell like, oh, this doesn't sound right type of thing. So it's not a peeve because I can understand. It was just more the disturbing side of things. So there's that. And another peeve I did have was the fact that Sam and Dean didn't tell Jack the truth about their intentions with him going into the Malak box. I feel like that is going to backfire on them so badly because they lied, because now they're, like Castiel said, they're doing the exact same thing that Duma was doing to Jack, and that's manipulating him. And then now he has Lucifer in his head, which is also going to twist things around even further. So that was a peeve there. And there's my timer as well. I'm almost done though. But what moment will I remember most? We'll look back on this episode, the failed containment of Jack in the Malak box, since he burst through it. I think he destroyed the box essentially. But there's that. Random questions very quickly. First one, if Michael was truly killed, then did all of Dean's death books change? I forgot that. I didn't even notice. I completely forgot about that notion for a while there, but that's one there. Second question, to all the fans of the 100, did anyone start to get any Ali 2.0 vibes from Duma when she was trying to tell Castiel that she's trying to save the world with her new regime, which is kind of along the same lines of what Ali 2.0 was doing in season 3 of the 100. So, and it's played by the same actress. I wonder if anyone else was getting the little flashbacky vibes there between the two characters. But there's that. And then another question is God really taking a back seat when Jack is crossing these lines between right and wrong? I mean, to what point is he going to stop being an absentee God? Like when is it going to come to it? Also, another tie-in, how many angels are we at now? Because we are no longer at 9 like we were given last time. Duma is dead, so that's at least 8, and then Cass added on the few extra ones, right? But I don't know for sure. Are we down to 8 plus the new ones? Do the new ones even count? I don't know. So I need a tally for that there as well. So there's that. Moving on to predictions though, very briefly. Based off the promo for 1420, this is the season finale, which is surprising itself that it's already here. But it looks like we see Dean wanting Jack dead. We see Castiel and Sam wanting to save Jack because Jack's only in the position because he did it to save all of them. So they don't want him to suffer because of it. You also see Dean holding a gun pointed at Jack, and Jack understanding that this is something Dean needs to do. So I'm a little worried there. But based off the synopsis for the season finale, it reads that Sam, Dean, and Castiel are thrown into an epic battle. Meanwhile, Jack becomes disenchanted with all the lies, and an old friend from the past shows up. I really hope Chuck is the old friend. But then again, I don't know who is the old friend part referring to. Is it Jack's old friend? Is it Sam and Dean's old friend? Is it Castiel's old friend? Who is it? I hope it's Chuck though, and maybe he takes Jack under his wing or something, because I really don't want to see Jack die, and I really don't want to see him turn evil. He just needs his soul back. He needs that, okay? So there is that. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. What do you think is going to happen in the season finale? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts, theories, and opinions about all that fun stuff. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. And let me know what you thought about this video as well. I kind of jumped right into wondering your own predictions and stuff. But anyways, yeah. So there's that. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff. All found in one place. Go check that out. Also, WordPress account, link for that is down below. Everything I post online is connected to WordPress. A little more organized, a little more detailed, but I do need to catch up on that as well. And of course, live journal entry link is down below. I summarize, jot noted versions of the episode as I watch it for the first time. It keeps things in line for me, includes quotes, in-moment thoughts, questions, all that fun stuff. Keeps things in order. Hopefully it keeps things in order for you until the official transcripts are floating through the internet. But check that out as well. I am behind on the latest episodes, but hopefully when I get a good chunk in during the summer hiatus, I can just post those quickly. They are technically posted. I just need to format them so it actually makes sense for you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope we come back next week to see what I have to say about the finale. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.